Is renting really throwing money away, or could buying be potentially the more expensive mistake? If you're considering moving to Colorado Springs, today we're going to break down all the pros and cons of renting versus buying. By the end of this video, we're going to tell you exactly who should consider buying and who should consider renting, so be sure to stay tuned.
Yeah. So we get asked a ton by you guys if buying is the better bet or should you rent, right? Which is a very valid, good question. And I think honestly, everybody should kind of question that when they're relocating here to Colorado Springs. I think a big thing that will kind of play into factor of if you should buy or if you should rent is going to be how long are you actually going to be in Colorado Springs? That's going to play a huge part in it.
Yeah, and for those of you who don't know, I'm Sean, this is Crystal. We're your local real estate agents here in Colorado Springs. And because we're in Colorado Springs, the length of time that you're going to be here is super important, especially for our military members. One of the worst things that I hate seeing is military members who get sent here to Colorado Springs. They're at their duty station. They expect to be here for X period of time. And then things change in their life or with their military job, and they are sent elsewhere well before their orders were supposed to end. And that could be devastating if you were purchasing a home and that ends up happening. So definitely something to strongly consider for our military families out there.
And you guys, if you are military, you know exactly what we're talking about, to where your assignment can change without any knowledge for you. They don't ask you if it's okay. If you do not have a longer assignment, if that isn't going to be for around 3 years, buying may not be the right fit for you.
Yeah, and if you look at stats, I'm pretty sure that real estate has never gone negative in a 7-year period of time. But what we saw with COVID is this huge influx, and then the rates went down and the prices increased so crazy and everyone built so much equity. But really, if you're going to consider buying, don't expect to be in positive equity in a year or 2 or even 3. And I think that that's one of the biggest lessons that we learned through COVID. And unfortunately, a lot of people are still backs against the wall because they did buy a few years ago and they did put money down and now they're trying to sell. But unfortunately, the market's just not there.
On the flip side of that, I think that if you are staying, let's say you're relocating here, you're not military, then we're not saying our military shouldn't buy, because one of the best feelings that we get is when our military members do buy and then they do get stationed somewhere else and they rent out their property and they start their rental portfolio, and then they call us 5, 6, 7 years later telling us like, hey, how much equity do I have in this house? And so it can be an amazing thing. But let's say that you're not military and you're moving here because a job and you want to raise your family here, you should probably look at buying.
For sure.
If you have a timeline to be able to allow the market to, kind of, because it's going to go up and down, up and down, up and down. And so if you have time to be able to wait out that period, if it is low, then absolutely you should buy it.
So knowing how long you're going to be living in Colorado Springs is definitely a huge factor. But factor number 2 is determining the location that you actually want to live around this beautiful city, because where you pick can highly influence whether you love or hate Colorado Springs or even the surrounding areas. So I would say that if you are not from the area itself and you haven't visited, first of all, reach out to us, 719-238-1771. We love meeting with people from YouTube and showing you guys all around this beautiful city to figure out which location is going to be ideal for you. But if you still don't have it locked down, renting might be a better option for you so that you can kind of experience the Colorado Springs and surrounding areas to determine where it is that you actually want to buy.
Well, and we have guides, neighborhood guides for a ton of different areas. So if you are relocating and you don't have the option of being able to take a trip here to be able to sightsee, then comment below or let us know, text us, and we'll send you over a guide that will help you kind of give you a little bit more information about the neighborhoods. A lot of you guys relocate here and you've never been to Colorado Springs, but your job is bringing you here. Or you have family that just moved here and you want to be closer. Whatever your path is on what's bringing you here to Colorado Springs, I think it's important to look at like what's important to you, which then is going to help you determine what neighborhood is going to be important, or what city, like what surrounding little area. Because you guys, we service all of Colorado Springs, but there's a ton of different little cities: Peyton, Security, South End, Monument, Briargate. There's so many different little pockets that we'll show you, and Sean does an amazing job of, captioning drone footage of the different areas, the parks, if you want to be close to schools, if you don't want to be close to schools, if you want land, all of that's going to play a big factor. And so I think it's important to know what area, and if you don't know, and or after you've done research and you're still not sold on it, rent. We have a few people that have rented for 6 months, and now they're ready to buy, because now they know, okay, this is the area that I really like.
And just check out our YouTube channel. We've done probably, 100 videos on all the different areas in Colorado Springs. So watch those ones, educate yourself, and then reach out to us and we can help you narrow it down even more.
Now let's talk about some expenses, right? So when you are renting, you have the flexibility of, if the sewer breaks, then that is the landlord's responsibility, right? Now, unless you're doing something to damage it, like clogging it up or putting like washable wipes down there. Obviously, like if you're doing something to ruin something, it's going to be your responsibility, but that's the landlord's responsibility. So there's a huge advantage to not having to worry about big ticket homeowner items when you are renting, which a lot of people really like that. They don't
for sure
want to deal with it if something happens.
Well, the opposite side of the coin is going to be the ability to do whatever it is that you want to do as a homeowner. So as a renter, you're not going to really probably be able to change the landscape if you don't like the landscape. You're not going to be able to take out a wall and open up the space more. You're not going to be able to do different things.
Paint a bedroom wall.
Yes, you're not going to be able to do those things that you'd be able to do as a homeowner. So if you're wanting to make that space yours for a long period of time, owning is probably the better option for you.
Absolutely.
If you just need a space to put a roof over your head, you're undecided, or you don't want to have those expense options, whether it's the roof or the plumbing or whatever else, then again, renting might be a good option for you.
Well, and I think too, when you do own, you take on those big ticket items, but you plan for that, right? Like you have a savings account, or you get a home warranty to help you if stuff like that happens, and also your homeowner's insurance is going to play a part of, like, if something big like that comes to play. Like, we have a ton of hail in Colorado Springs, sewers back up. All of that stuff is covered with your homeowner's insurance, which is a benefit to owning your home.
So as the homeowner, do you have potentially more expenses when it comes to the roof and the plumbing and whatever? Probably. However, the perk of owning, probably the biggest perk of owning, is that you can build equity over time. There was just a recent study done, and everyone is still investing in real estate. It is still the number one investment that people are choosing to make year after year after year after year. And it's like I mentioned earlier, there's never been a period of time over a 7-year period of time where real estate has gone backwards. So I would say that it is extremely stable. We have moments in time, especially right now, where interest rates are higher or the market's flipped upside down. And obviously, depending on what location you're watching this from, your market's going to be totally different than our market. But I would say that real estate is extremely stable as a long-term investment.
Well, and I think a lot of people, when the rates first skyrocketed, they were like, date the rate, marry the house. And we never really said that, because we have no control over those interest rates. But what I can say is this, you guys: owning a home is not for everybody. And it's not, we will never be those agents that are going to be like, you have to buy. If your situation doesn't make sense to buy, you don't buy, and we're not going to push you for that. But when you're renting, that is 100% interest. Our rates are high. They're at one of the highest that they've been over a year. And it's kind of a gut punch when you look at what your payment would look like. But when you're renting, you have to remember all of that is going in the seller's pocket, right? You're gaining their equity for them. And so it's 100% interest, versus if you do purchase, you will over time. Now, we're not going to say like within 2 years, because like Sean already said, that just wasn't realistic. It happened, not realistic though. And so if over time you're going to build that equity, and if anything, even if you don't build a ton of equity, your payment is going to continue to go down, which then that is going to give you, I kind of look at it like at a little savings account that you never can really like touch, right? So huge advantage there, you guys. And I think it's something that is very important to kind of pay attention to.
So if you're going to live in the house for a long period of time, you want to build equity and you want the flexibility of making whatever changes to the home that you want to make to the home, consider buying. If you don't know what location you want, if you don't really care about making changes to the home and you don't want to be responsible for things like the roof when the hail comes, maybe you should consider renting. But either way, whichever one you choose, feel free to reach out to us with any of your real estate questions around Colorado Springs, 719-238-1771. Check out our library of videos and consider subscribing to our channel if this video is helpful for you.
I think February.